Welcome to Centennial Stadium at the University of Victoria for the 2019 PCL Challenge Cup Final between the Victoria Highlanders 2FC and FC Tigers of Vancouver. Hello everyone, my name is Arturo, and behind me you can see the teams finishing up their warm-ups for today's clash. They played yesterday in the semi-finals, Tigers coming up 5-1 winners over Surrey United, and the Highlanders winning 2-1 over the Okanagan. Now for these Tigers, this represents a second chance at getting some silverware. Many of these Tigers, including Tomi Fabonge, were in the Provincial A Cup finals earlier this year. They came in second, they got their silver medal, though many I'm sure would love to right the wrongs and come home with some gold to end the summer soccer season. Meanwhile, for these Highlanders, they are looking to also bring home some gold, having already won the league. So this is a chance for a double for the Highlanders to get both the league championship and the Challenge Cup. Top goal scorer for the Highlanders during the regular season was Patrick Nelson with 10, 9 goals from Favorite Torvar. For Tigers, they'll be the key men here to try and bring home the championship for their respective sides. So get ready, everybody. The Challenge Cup is up next. And with the anthems done, the teams with their handshakes at center field, and we are about to get underway. Starting lineups for both sides. First for the visiting FC Tigers of Vancouver, in goal, Lucas Strauts, Nawaf Binsala, Jude Barrow, Vuk Saranek, and Tenor Bashgare. Farvor Torabi, we mentioned him off the top. He's in the starting 11, along with Nicholas Budisa, Tomi Fabonge, Alejandro Varela, Daniel Davidson, and Rhett Freiter. Fishes there at center field. Tigers in their red kit with white. Highlanders in their white kit, with black socks. For the Highlanders, starting in goal, Ethan May, Ryan Ashley, Paulo Date, Bobby Ang, Reese Gertson, Cam Hundle, Chris Merriman, Caden Miner, Patrick Nelson, Simon Stacey, and Ian Wibley form the starting 11 for the home side Highlanders. Wibley with a brace in the semi-final, which led to the Highlanders overcoming Okanagan FC. Bobby Ang, we mentioned the starting 11 with the own goal that put Okanagan briefly ahead 1-0 before Wibley's brace pushed the Highlanders into today's final here at Centennial Stadium. Opening coin flip there, Torabi there wearing the armband for Tigers. Ashley with the honors for the Highlanders. As we mentioned, the Highlanders already have the league itself sewn up. A dominant league campaign. They'll be looking to add a double. It was interesting to note that neither the Highlanders nor Tigers, you can see there getting their last pep talk together, have ever won the Challenge Cup. So either way, the first time hoisting this trophy for one of these sides. See there, Nsala, Udisa for Tigers, and now for the Highlanders. Ang there in the front of your screen, number 3. Right next to Gertson, 4, and Hundle, 23. Cam Hundle, no stranger to both the University of Victoria and the Victoria Highlanders. Practically a fixture in this organization at both the first and second team levels. Has a Wanda Fuca plate to his credit. Not to mention no small number of honors from his collegiate career. Meanwhile, the Tigers prepare to take to the field for this final. Their head coach, Blaise Kufo, listed as a player coach, so he is available for selection. Whether or not he actually takes to the field will be another question entirely. And goodness knows, Blaise Kufo, when you have a statue to your name built in front of a stadium, you've already got everything there is to get in this world, in this sort of soccer, but I'm sure all the same, Blaise would love to walk out of Centennial Stadium today with a Challenge Cup for FC Tigers. Ethan May was in net there for the Highlanders, as Wibley tries to take the opening kick for Highlanders. Kufo, also a former, we mentioned him before, FC Twente legend, also a former designated player for Seattle Sounders in Major League Soccer. So find a level of soccer. Blaise Kufo has played in it and played dominantly at it. Can his FC Tigers lift the Challenge Cup? We are underway, and we will find out the answer to that question momentarily. Budisa there, losing the header, and back the other way it goes. Budisa starting on this back line. As through the middle go the Highlanders, trying to retain possession. This is Nelson now. Nelson goes out wide left. Still a head full of steam here. Cam Hundle lays off and returns. On the right, he has Stacy. That's where it goes. Stacy's cross over the heads of everybody and fall kindly, but cleared in the end. Highlanders now will play out of their back to the left side. Chipped ball forward, looking for the run of Nelson, but he's offside. Some protests there from the Lakeside boys, but regardless, this referee was right there. Fairly simple call to make. And now Tigers on the offense. Trying to go through the middle, but that's broken up. Looking to step forward there was Davidson, but ultimately the Highlanders coming the other way. Stacy now. Goes up the right-hand side. Finds his runner. This is Wibley. Back to Stacy. Cuts inside for Nelson. 1-2 ball. Stacy gets it, puts it low, nobody there, and cleared out to touch. It will be a throw. Good interplay there from the Highlanders. Stacy, Nelson, and Wibley working on that right-hand side. Nelson coming over to help. And it looks like it'll be Gertzen here with the throw. And there it is, into the area, touched down. And back it goes, Gertzen. Second effort at it, over the head, but not two. And past Nelson. Just managed to keep it at the edge of the penalty area, chased back. Now puts it low, intercepted quickly there by Ceranic. Ceranic, though, gives away a foul in the process. And that's a free kick in a dangerous-looking position here for Highlanders. Decent start for the home side. They've kept possession where it needs to be. If you're a Highlander supporter, the correct side of the center line. But to their credit, Tigers showing a strong defense early. They've had defenders in position where they need to be. And so far, closest chance the Highlanders have had have sailed past everybody. And now they have a chance to line up a free kick here and see if they can get something in before the 3rd minute. Just played 3 minutes now. Nelson to take. Steps over it, leaves it. A little bit of trickery here, but that'll fly directly at Lucas Strouts, and he will have no problem whatsoever claiming that and running it to the edge of his area. Calls for a little bit of settling down there. And up the center go the Tigers. Ceranic now. Far overlapping on the left there was Budisa. He'll have to move back. As to the middle here go Jude Barrow. Barrow thought about going right. Keeps it himself. And now they do use that right-hand side. Insalit tries to look for the overlapping run there. Can't find it. Throw in here for the Highlanders. Jostling the feet there in midfield. Flicked back. Trying to step there was Nelson, and one-touch ball there from Eng over the top, but nobody there. Running back to get that. Ceranic. Hands it over to Bensalit. And Tigers will regroup. Ceranic now. Barrow. Kabonge. Correa. Little touch there forward for Ceranic. Barrow helping out his center backs here as they try to move forward. Facing a high press here from the Highlanders. They managed to get around it though for Bonge. Good possession here from Tigers. Davidson going all the way back now. Varela for Barrow. Ceranic Now going right through the middle here as Barrow, he skipped 2 challenges, but not the 3rd. Inspired run there ultimately came to nothing. Some quick defending from Tigers, make sure that attack goes nowhere else. Barrow had an interesting idea there, looking for a seam. Couldn't find a good outlet pass that he wanted, tried it himself, and skipping 2 challenges might not have been the worst idea in the world at all, but just couldn't get past the 3rd challenge. Bobby Ing getting a foot in there. Varela plays in short, goes back. Barrow looks out to the right, Binsale. Bashkara make that. Pagbonge. Barrow. Out to the right as the Tigers cycle their back line and they look over the top here. Chested down nicely. And it's in the back of the net! Just like that! Farver Torabi has added another. 1-0 FC Tigers of Vancouver before the 7th minute. Well, really, out of almost nothing, Tigers had been looking for a way out and opted to go over the top. Vuksaranich there with the long ball and bringing it down. And finishing with a plum, Farver Torabi. That's why he is the top goal scorer for this side. He can make things happen out of nothing. Great target play work here. Chests down, gets past Paulo Date, and finishes right into the far corner. 1-0 FC Tigers. Torabi adding another. Meanwhile, offside here off the opening kick is Nelson as he tries to respond quickly for the home side. Nothing doing though. So now it will be the Victoria Highlanders needing to respond here, having conceded relatively early in this Challenge Cup final. After what looked to be a promising opening string of attacks, it's been the Tigers settling down, keeping possession on their back line. There's a crunching slide in there by Noif Binsale. Referee deems it fine, and indeed it deflects off and goes out for a throw. Taken quickly here, and Saranic goes all the way back to Barea. Nelson in hot pursuit. Udisa. Barrow now up the middle. We'll try this run again. It worked out well from before, and this time he lays off to Udisa. Going back to Varea. Sala and Barea really driving things to the back here. Barea now. Up the middle he goes. Davidson, the check short to receive. Looks right, takes a deflection though. That will be calmly claimed now. Hundle. Stacy. Taps it back. Gertson will go all the way back. And May will thump that long. Stacy. Can't get past Budisa. Bongate. Deflection falls kindly for Budisa. Barrow. Jude Barrow looks long. He's trying to find the run again. Could this be too early? Down he goes, and that is going to be a penalty. May does not like it. We'll hopefully get another look at this. But once again, Farver Torabi latching onto that long ball with great speed. Out came Ethan May to make the challenge. There's not a lot of protesting going on from either side here. There's the long ball from Barrow. And you can see just at the end there, the little clip on the legs from May is what the referee saw. He seems to think that it was well after the play was gone, but regardless, he made contact with the attacker. Arguably contact that could have been avoided. Forovar goes right side this time, and Farver Torabi has a brace at the 10-minute mark. It's 2-0 Tigers. It was this kind of scoring that led them to the 5-1 win in yesterday's semifinal. Took them to the second half to manage it that time. But this time, 10 minutes into the first half, into the game, Ethan May's been beaten twice, that time on a penalty. Well taken by Torabi, confident, knew exactly where he wanted to place that. Barrow made it happen with the long ball that eventually resulted in the penalty that Torabi won himself. And now he's got one from the spot, one from the run of play. And FC Tigers of Vancouver up 2-0 over the Victoria Highlanders 2. This reserve side is the league champion. They're looking for the double. It's a much harder ask now. The supporters seeing that they'll win 3-2, never losing their optimism at that end of the stadium. And certainly, there's still 80 minutes of soccer to go. Hope is not lost, though that is a fairly large hole to find yourself in at any point in a soccer match. Hundle now, marked closely, still with it. Cam Hundle looks low. Minor, looking for Nelson, finds him. Nelson turns, has Stacy with him. That's where it goes. Stacy against Budisa, now he gets some help. Opts to go all the way back to Date. Back to Ashley goes, he's gonna have to be careful here. On rushing Farvo Torabi, he's on a hat trick, why not? Wibley forced back. Paolo Date. Return ball. Up it goes to Minor. That is well defended there. And up they go through the middle. Daniel Davidson. Varea all the way back to his goalkeeper, Strouts. Sliding in there to make sure he got rid of it was Bensalet. Merriman there. Making sure he can get rid of it. Minor. Giving away. Barrow. Bonge. Davidson. Stacy. Davidson hears the man on shout, calmly turns away. Low ball. Ceramic was looking for a different target there, couldn't find it. Now Nelson tries the 1-2 ball, inadvertently plays it off of Barrow, nearly gets it back himself, but Tigers regain possession. And Salah looks long. This has been the phrase that pays so far early into this match. Go long and let Farivar Torabi do what he does best. He's 2 goals to the good. So the plan is clearly working. As the supporters now attempt to rally the troops. There's a long ball looking for Torabi. This one should claim cleanly. And he does claim that cleanly. Ashley. Zone long ball. Nelson, having already been burned twice by the offside flag, opts not to run after it. Indeed, there was a little bit extra power on that ball anyway. Had he even tried to make the run, Strouts would likely have always been the favorite to get there in the end. Bensala looks to the right. Tapped forward there by Bashgare. Saranic now. All the way back it goes. The long ball trying to find the run here. Budisa on the overlap on the left. He's in a foot race here with Date, but neither one of them get to it first. That'll be May coming off his line. Good bit of goalkeeping there, and Date starts in the other direction. Stacy. Ashley now. One-touch ball there from Minor. Stacy keeps it in play. Down 2, now 3 Tigers as they regain their shape. Bonge watching. Over the top it goes. Minor. It's going to be hard pressed to get there. Head of Varea. Does manage to keep it in. A lovely little bit of athleticism there to not concede the throw in. And in the end, Tigers keep possession out of all of it. Lovely bit of football there from Alejandro Varea. Eng now. 50-50 ball there. Comes together with Bashgare. Out to the right it goes. Nice little touch and turn there by Rhett Frater. Saranic. Mabonge under pressure here. Opts to go up the middle. 1-2 with Davidson. Mabonge goes out wide right. Wide open man. Nice little chip there from Bashgare. Puts it to the area, and it's 3! It's a hat trick! It's a 16-minute hat trick from Torabi. Tigers are cruising up 3-0 at the quarter-hour mark, just like that. And you can see there, that time it was Taner Bashgari coming up on the right. They found multiple outlets to connect with Torabi over the course of this game, early as it is. And no one right now seems to know how to either stop the service or stop the man himself. And time is rapidly running out to solve that problem. Bashgara, the provider this time. How do the Highlanders respond here? They've tried going through Nelson. They've tried adding Minor to the attack. Whibley has been more or less marked out of this game. There's still 45 minutes to go for the hour mark. Still 75 minutes to go in this game. And now a chance to latch onto that. He was onside that time, was Nelson, or at the very least the flag had stayed down. Just out of his reach there. Patrick Nelson unable to corral that long ball. Another long ball here, this time from Bensala, just off the clearance. Torabi doesn't care, he'll just chase it down anyways. May plays the short ball with the hat trick man watching on. A 16-minute hat trick for Farvar Torabi in a cup final. There's knowing that someone's going to be the danger man, and then there's actually seeing it happen. And knowing he's the leading goal scorer is one thing, but having a plan to stop him is the one thing lacking from the Highlanders' knowledge base, as it would appear right now. They have been powerless to stop Torabi from putting FC Tigers up 3-0. And they need to solve that. They needed to solve that after the first goal. Certainly after 3, there must be an idea here of how to contain him. And it's either changing the matchup. They move to a double coverage situation, as we saw there. Ashley coming over to win that header. Eng now. Stacy. And we'll go out for a throw. Which Date will take here. He'll throw that back in. Clipped away by Varea. And brought down. Barrow now. He's been running the midfield well from that deep lying position. Bonge. Davidson now. Torabi. Closed down by Eng. It skips around the challenge nicely. Bashgare intercepted by Merriman. And now Hundle has a little bit of space. Minor here making the late run. He goes right up the middle. Can he get there? He can, and he's onside. Takes his chance. But that's well saved. Getting down there was Lucas Strauts. Could have been taken better there was Ian Whibley. Whibley did very well to beat both the offside and the defense. That was a pinpoint perfect pass from Cam Hundle. But Whibley just not able to get enough power on it. Placement was decent, but Strauts was there comfortably in the end. But that perhaps is the way through. Get Hundle to link up with these attackers. They'll try it again. This time Nelson looking for Whibley. Whibley tries to get ahead of Varea. Varea does well to get a foot in. And the deflection falls kindly for Hundle, but he's put it off the deflection and out. Good defending there from Bensala. And the first corner kick of the game at the 20-minute mark will go to the Highlanders. And at the risk of sounding overly dire, they need to connect on this to get back into this game. Down 3 goals in 16 minutes. Getting one back here, while it's still a massive deficit, at least makes the task slightly more palatable. There's the delivery. Headed clear. Marion will come back in. And it'll end up being a throw the other way. Meanwhile, player is on the deck here in the area. One of the Tigers players, is that Varea? We'll get a look here in just a moment. Tigers did well to defend that corner. Plenty of bodies in the area coming together for it, unfortunately. A coming together of bodies has resulted in one Tiger being left on the deck. If that is Varea, that's unfortunate for Tigers. Alejandro Varea has done very well defending for the Tigers so far in this match, including that little bit of athleticism we saw not too long ago to save a throw-in. Great commitment from Varea to this cause. Certainly done his part in this 3-0 scoreline that his team finds himself on the right side of. As you can see there, Torabi on the left side, number 8 in red. 25, Saranic there. Saranic and Barrow have done very well starting the play from deep for Tigers. Initially, when they were finding their footing there, it seemed like they were getting hassled off the ball immediately, but as soon as they could find that time and space, as soon as their defense could settle things down and allow them to get that time and space, it's been Barrow and Saranic doing a lot of the dictating of play, a lot of the direction has come from them. Let's take a look here at some of the highlights. Saranic there, you can see, we just mentioned him. There's his long ball that led to the first goal from Torabi, finding that far post. And it was definitely a harbinger of things to come. As you can see, Torabi does so well there. One chest, one touch. Back of the net, easy as you like. And from there, he earned himself a penalty. Then, May commits. Torabi goes to the other side. Makes it 2-0. Just like that, it's 2-0. But that would not be it. Oh no, Torabi wanted his hat trick and he got it. Here, Tainor Bashkare puts it on a platter for him. Nobody marks Torabi in this, just at the edge of the 6-yard box. There's your 16-minute hat trick. As you can see there, he managed to drift off had Torabi. You can see Ing's nowhere near him. Date's nowhere near him. Gertson and Ashley have dropped off a little too far. And that is that. And that is where we find ourselves now as we prepare for this throw-in to be taken now by Budisa. Davidson chests it back as we wait for Varea to come back in, and now he returns to play. So the injury has been dealt with. The player is still good to go. And now Nelson trying to get in quickly onto Barrow before he can make things happen, but not having it there. FC Tigers midfielder, Bashkare, fakes the cross, does well to get Minor to bite on it. Deflects off his own knees this time, and the Highlanders midfield comes together. Stacy will chase this down against Budisa, won't get there in time. Throw for the Tigers. Budisa thinks about taking quickly, but instead we'll just settle things down. 24th minute, up 3-0, no real urgency, but instead he throws that right at Stacy. Perhaps was looking for Davidson, and a little touch there does give Stacy some room. Sliding in is Varea, no worse for wear. And he banks it off of Stacy to get the throw as well. So Varea sliding back into action here. As Fugbonge inadvertently heads that directly back out of play. Now, Budisa did raise his hand to catch it. Was he still in play when he had his hand on it? Because if so, it'll be a free kick. And I think that's what the referee has indicated. So Budisa was not fully out of play. He had returned to the field of play when he handled it. So it's a handball on Nicholas Budisa. And now a free kick opportunity here for the Highlanders. Two-man wall, options in the box. There's the delivery from Merriman. Falls. And it does go to the back of the net! We're not done yet, say the Highlanders. 3-1 in the 25th minute. And just like that, we've got a soccer match. Well, it was Budisa's brief lack of attention that resulted in that free kick. And as you can see there on the scramble, fired into the far post. As Strauss does his best to slow the retake of the fast kick, but in the end, it's Simon Stacy with the goal. A vital goal for the Highlanders, gives them a lifeline back into this match. 3-1. Tigers over Highlanders. It's still a big hill to climb. But it's slightly smaller than it was 2 minutes ago. And if you're the home side, you have to like the idea of only needing to score 2 instead of 3. One down, 3 to go is the chant from the supporters' end. They haven't lost hope. Time will tell whether or not their optimism is rewarded. Nelson, little side foot there to get around his marker. Hundle cuts in, goes low. Stacy, the goal scorer. Tries the 1-2 ball. Nelson has a bit of space and he's onside. Nelson! Oh, floats it past the far post. He looked to put it top corner. You could tell he had that in the back of his mind. It was always going to try and find that far post. But he put it high, trying to get it over the keeper. Perhaps just going for power and keeping it low would have been the better idea instead of the technical attempt. Nelson remains off the score sheet. Highlanders remain 2 down. Headed down there by Ashley. Nelson will again try to chase this down. That might be the best way through here for the Highlanders, is to try and force these turnovers and then let Patrick Nelson get his speedy boots on and go off to the races. Unfortunately there he concedes the foul. And Tigers will take all the time they need to get restarted. Varela. Barrow. Garrett. Bonge. Saranic. Goes low. Davidson taking the run on point here. Half expecting that to be Torabi, but Tigers are changing the focus of their attack here. Trying to keep the Victoria defense on their toes. And they go long to do the Highlanders in response. That'll be over Stacy's head, over Budisa's head, and this time he will wait for it to go out of play before putting his hands on the ball. Lesson learned there from Nicholas Budisa. It's the little things that can be the success or the undoing of a side. Making sure that you know whether or not you and or the ball are in play before handling it. Unquestionably one of those little things. Let's give the Highlanders a way back into this match. What can they do with it? Nelson. Intercepted there. Bonge finds Torabi. The 1-2 ultimately comes to nothing as Ashley managed to get a boot in. Bonge takes a bit of a tumble there. Mashgare up the right-hand side. Merriman up against Torabi here. Torabi just muscles past him and gets around. Calling for it is Davidson. Torabi tries to keep himself. Ball stays in play. And the collapsing defense of the Highlanders collapses all around Faravir Torabi. And they keep him from bagging his 4th, or setting up the 4th, perhaps. Davidson had arms raised calling for it. That would have been quite the pass, though. You'd have to thread it through 3 defenders. But now it's Stacy on the overlap. Gets ahead of Budisa. Budisa does very well to shoulder him off. That puts Stacy off just enough to leave the ball behind, and now it's Davidson back the other way for Tigers. Daniel Davidson. A little bit of cross-league banter there, referencing the Vancouver Whitecaps or the Highlanders supporters. Has not been a great season for them in Major League Soccer, on or off the pitch, really. Including a loss to Canadian Premier League side, Cavalry FC. Stacy. Ashley and Gertzen here. Got a little bit of pressure. They find an outlet. That outlet is Date. He's shifted on the pitch a little bit here, moving more inside to the left. As the shuffling of personnel, perhaps to try and contain Torabi, continues for Highlanders. Certainly they had to. They could not let someone who's on a 16-minute hat trick continue to run unopposed, and now Stacy leaves. Hundle. Goes low. Hundle's found the back of the net! A left footer from Cam Hundle! Just like he's done so many times before for the UVic Vikes and the Victoria Highlanders. Hundle scores when they need it the most. It's just a hopeful shot with the left boot. It freezes Strouts. Caught flat-footed, and the placement is centimeter perfect. Cam Hundle has a goal. And there's only one goal now separating these two sides. In the 32nd minute, there have been 5 goals scored. Well, you had to know a cup final wasn't going to lack for excitement. And 5 goals barely past the half-hour mark counts. FC Tigers 3, Victoria Highlanders 2. Here comes Rhett Freider now, trying to fight his way into the penalty area, and he still got it in the end. Bashgare. Is this a quick Tigers response? They'll get a throw out of it. Ryder with the 1-2 with Staranek. Staranek goes low. Torabi intercepted. With authority there by Ashley. No nonsense there. Aiden Red unquestionably has to be a marked man 24/7 if you're Highlanders. And indeed, that shuffle on the back line seems to have taken place with Gertzen moving to the right and Date moving more central. Hundle. Called back, though. Not sure why advantage wasn't played there. If that was a foul committed by Tigers, advantage really should have been played there, as both Stacy and Hundle were off to the races. Plenty of space. And indeed, this does look like it is going to be... Was it Bashgar who committed the foul there? Regardless... It is going to be a free kick for Highlanders. I'm sure they would have appreciated advantage in this specific case. No, it is going to be instead Ben Saleh going into the book. As Nawaf Ben Saleh, first player to be carded in this cup final.
Yellow card in the 34th minute to FC Tigers, Vancouver number 14, Nawaf Ben Saleh.
Here's the free kick now. Blocked. No call for encroachment, though. Date going directly off of Bashgara, who bravely forms the one-man wall, and now he will go down. That was a hard impact to take at close range. I'm a little bit surprised that's not called back for encroachment, but regardless... Bashgara is paying in one way, and that is having taken a shot at close range. That's never going to be pleasant. The bravery of standing in the wall having its drawbacks.
You want the truth, you can't handle the truth. You want the truth, you can't handle the truth. You want the truth, you can't handle the truth. You want the truth, you can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth. Is the call from the supporters. Because why not? Cam Hundle has the Highlanders within 1 after they were down 3. The early Farvar Torabi hat trick certainly had the Tigers on pace to run away with this thing. Shades of that 5-1 victory over Surrey United. But instead, Simon Stacy off of a scramble off a corner, and then Cam Hundle with the hopeful left footer that snuck in and flat-footed Lucas Strouts. Budisa. Over Stacy. Once again, looking for that long ball that paid dividends early. Ashley, those there, as is Minor. Puts it low for Wibley. Wibley has some space. Cuts inside. Right footer saved by Strouts. Clutch save from Lucas Strouts at stretch, as Wibley was looking to level this game before halftime. Meanwhile, on the near side, Simon Stacy, in that battle there with Budisa, gets the throw. Falls for Patrick Nelson. Unfortunately, it falls off of him and out for a goal kick. Stern defending there from Alejandro Varela. Strouts will take his time with this. We'll take another look at this chance here from Wibley. Right footer. Strouts was well off his line to cut down the angle. Had to get that right, and he did. We'll boot that to midfield. The back pass will go all the way back to Bensala. Saranic. Now here's this patient build-up the Tigers used so well early before springing Torabi, and then Torabi is checked deep here to help spring this breakout, and now Torabi up against Date. Still Torabi just going for a run, but this time, well defended by Date. Even gets the little deflection off of Torabi, and it will be a goal kick. So there's a definite size mismatch in that attacker versus defender battle, but in the end, it's the good technique of Paulo Date to get that little flick. Speaking of, Nelson, the flick header onward. That back pass is poor. Hundle almost gets there. Strouts, looking calm as you like, gets rid of it. You had to think Hundle's eyes would have been wide as saucers at that to see that kind of a gift in front of him. Regardless, here goes Barrow on a run. He's done this twice already. This third one looks just as dangerous as the previous two. Davidson from distance sails it over the net. Davidson does like to take those long shots. Certainly we've seen our fair share of those when he plays for the Highlanders first team during the USL 2 season. During the PCSL season, he's with Tigers. And now playing against his usual side, or at least the reserves of. Interesting experience, no doubt, for Davidson. Played with the first team against the second team. Meanwhile, Bonge comes to help out his defense there. Strouts will clear. Once again, they try the long ball. Ashley up against the hat-trick man now. But Torabi is dispossessed there. And Date send it out to the left. Merriman. Wibley. Out for a throw. About 6 minutes left before halftime, not accounting for stoppages. FC Tigers of Vancouver, 3. Victoria Highlanders, 2 FC, 2. Freider trying the run there, ultimately turned back. Budisa. They have switched around a little bit here with Freider moving up, and he'll just keep moving up. Will Rhett Freider. Can he keep this in play? No, just a little bit beyond. Freider having moved up there, having swapped with Vuk Saranic. Now moving to more of a midfield role, while Saranic moves to that right back spot. Some debate there about possible handball or a similar foul. Referee ultimately is not interested. Bonge to Saranic. Freider. Bashgara. Saranic under pressure. This is Eng moving up from the back. All the way back to Strouts. Thumps it long. And that is headed down and out. Thrown in quickly. Barrow. Tries this run, but he's stopped this time. Hundle Hundle against Fabonge, just puts on a little bit of speed. Still plenty of red shirts to get through. Oh, a nice little turn from Hundle, but he's brought down, and he does indeed win the free kick. Trickery at the touchline from Cam Hundle, outwitting Tommy Fabonge. And now a deep free kick here. About 4 minutes and change from halftime. Wouldn't an equalizer here be something? 6 goals in the first half to leave it all level would be quite the story. And 2 players stand over this free kick. Bodies are up. Ing stays near the midfield stripe. Merriman stays all the way back. Everyone else is forward. Here's the delivery. Headed down and cleared. Minor. Hundle cuts back in. Low, 1-2 ball, still running. Low drive from Gertzen is blocked. Gertzen stayed up from that set piece. I'll have to be careful here. Numbers committed forward with Torabi dangerously close to springing away uncontested to goal. Now the defenders take their position back. It'll be a throw in for Highlanders. Whibley would love to add another goal to his weekend tally. He has the brace that got the Highlanders here. Merriman. Hundle. Under pressure now is Hundle. 3 defenders around him. Does manage to find an outlet to Gertzen and Ashley. Now Gertzen. Stacy. Marked immediately by Budisa. Davidson has moved up as well. Ashley goes long. Falls in front of Budisa. Stacy tries to get around him. Budisa very calm. Gets that over to Rea. Now one-on-one here. Ashley does well to win that header off of Torabi. But that's a one-on-one matchup Tigers will take all day. Fabonge now trying to split the defense up against Date. Does very well to win that. Davidson does well to get past Date. That was Eng earlier, excuse me, who'd helped out. Now Date comes all the way back. Whibley, little poke. And Salah sweeps that up. Barrow calmly gets that out. Little backflip there from Bashkara. And then just thumped clear by Ashley. Touched up and over, coming together of bodies, and that will be going the way of Tigers as Hundle thought he had space to sprint. Referee decided otherwise. So we are in the 44th minute here. Halftime approaches. Well, Tigers, you have to be happy that your main man, Faravar Torabi, your top goal scorer, gets a hat trick to start off a cup final. And if you're the Highlanders, you have to be happy that you fought back to get 2 before halftime. This tie is far from over, and Stacy does well to keep moving. Eng now. Back to Gertzen. Date. Torabi bearing down on him, gets to Ashley. Ashley switches for Merriman. Doesn't get all the way there, though. Ceranic. And Salah clears. Gertzen's header. Falls for Nelson, who flicks it on. Back to the keeper it goes. Strouts will claim this before rolling it all the way out. Bin Salah. Hundle watches him. Does well to turn. Under pressure, gets rid of it. After a little bit of trouble, Bashkara can't quite come up with it, but it'll get the throw in the end anyway. We've played the first 45. Waiting for confirmation on stoppage time here from the 4th official. Looks like there will be some. Can't imagine this would be more than a couple minutes.
As indicated, there will be a minimum of 3 additional minutes to the first half.
3 minutes added on from that injury earlier to Varea. Nelson. Minor. Ashley. Gertzen. Stacy. Tries the 1-2 there with Wibley, but he'd gone a little bit too far past where the pass was intended for. Eng does well to win that back. Hundle. For Nelson, who's on side. Nelson! Nelson! Great defending there! That was a clutch boot left in there by Varea. Wibley was all over the back post. Strauts had been beaten. And but for a boot from Alejandro Varea, we could be 3-3 heading into halftime. That close. Varea has been nothing if not critical to this Tigers back line. Scoreline might not say that. Hundle puts it low. And can they keep this in? They can. Hundle intercepts. No, it does go out for a corner. Late corner here. Thought Binsal had saved that from a corner, and indeed, he did not. Late corner here as the bodies come forward. Nelson getting a drink at the far post. Hundle prepares the delivery. Not Hundle, excuse me. Hundle's at the just at the arc outside the penalty area. This is Date with the delivery. Punched clear by Strauss. There is Hundle. Up against Torabi. Tries to start a counter by brute force, and he'll get it. Torabi. Can he get past Eng? Lays it off, and sliding back is Ashley to break that up with Fagbonge. Looking for space. Barrow. As now Freider has moved back to his right back role. Saranic is central again. Barrow now helping out the back line as they go long. Ashley sends it right back the other way, only as far as Binsala. Headed down now. Just ping-ponging it back and forth as they play out the half. And that is halftime. Well, it's been an entertaining tilt, to say the least. At halftime, it's FC Tigers of Vancouver 3, Victoria Highlanders 2 FC 2. The hat trick from Faravor Torabi. You see him there, number 8 in red. The captain with 3 goals to his name, including 1 from the penalty spot, a penalty he earned himself. And it is enough right now to have his team in front after 45 minutes. Meanwhile, for the Highlanders, they fought back with 2, 1 from Cam Hundle, 1 from Simon Stacy. Patrick Nelson so far off the score sheet, but not for lack of trying. As we take a look here at some of the highlights from this first half, that long ball to Torabi has been the phrase that pays for FC Tigers. Can they find it again in the second half? Or will the Highlanders fight back to really make something out of this tie? The PCSL Challenge Cup final is coming up after this break.
Fans, we have a draw that we're about to do here. You're going to want to take out that green ticket for all you honest people that paid your $5 on the way in here. We've got a couple draws, 2 drawstring backpacks. The first one has a t-shirt in it, Highlanders t-shirt, and the second with a Highlanders hat. You know, if you're the lucky winner, you're going to want to head over to the Country Grocer tent and collect your prize. First ticket, winning ticket is green. Once again, it's 445595. 445595 is winning ticket number 1. Winning ticket number 2 is 445575. Once again, 445575. If you want to head over to the Country Grocer tent and collect those prizes, thank you very much for coming out, everyone, today. Second half will be getting underway shortly.
here at the University of Victoria's Centennial Stadium. My name is Churro. Glad to have you back with us as the Highlanders, as you can see there, prepare their huddle. It's been a pretty good first half of soccer, and those of you in the comment section here on YouTube tend to be agreeing. AARC8 saying it was a pretty darn first half. I assume it was darn good first half there. Tigers keep it up. Barrow is the playmaker. We were mentioning that in the end of the first half. Absolutely. Barrow and Saranac were really the ones driving that play when Saranac moved inside into the midfield, and Barrow made, I believe, by my final count, was 5 excellent runs surging forward. If he couldn't find a target for a pass, he would take it himself. Barrow unquestionably key part of this Tigers midfield, and he'll need to be to try and preserve this 3-2 lead Tigers have over Highlanders to start the second half. Jose Pinto also saying Victoria are starting to press more. Tigers need to regroup and change their game plan. Should be a good second half. We did indeed see that. That's how the Highlanders got that second goal, as they returned to that pressing midfield. Hundle being a lot more active. You also saw Milner coming a little bit more alive there in the play as well. Eng, of course, doing his job, and that little shuffle on the back line to move Date more over where he could match up against Torabi, excuse me, did seem to make a difference. So we'll see how that plays out as the second half starts with a quick foul. And there he is, 17 in red, Jude Barrow.
Halftime substitution for FC Tigers Vancouver, leaving the game, number 25, Vuk Saranac. Coming into the game, number 95, Yigal Brook.
Meanwhile, one substitution to mention is Saranac. Actually, his day is done. Instead, Yigal Brook comes into the game. I imagine he will slot in more or less in a similar role here. Something there in the midfield.
Substitution for your Victoria Highlanders.
Spashkara here on the near side
12,
with Freider.
Miner.
And just as I mentioned, Miner having been part of the game, he is subbed out. And he will be subbed out and replaced with Leo Nakabayashi. So just the one substitution each at halftime for each side. So far, I think that's it, though. So I quickly run over the players that are currently out there. I believe it's just the two. Brook in for Saranic and Nakabayashi in for Miner. Meanwhile, Bensalet, the only person in the book so far with the 1 yellow. Being watched by Whibley. Chest down there. Through the legs of Freider. That is Nakabayashi there, handing it off to Chris Merriman. Throws it over the top. Whibley receives it up against Freider. Freider will just poke it out, and that'll be another throw. Throw deep here now for the Highlanders. They start the second half fairly brightly. It was a little bit stop-start with the fouls, but they managed to grind their way into a decent position for a throw-in. So Merriman's throw to the feet of Hundle is taken away. That's a lovely little move there by Freider. Go long, flicked on by Torabi. Bonge tried to get past Eng, just couldn't get there in time. Nelson. Over for Stacy, who's watched closely by Urisa. Ashley. Goes long, looks on the right-hand side. He's found the run there of Stacy, who heads it down. Charging in, though. There you can see the substitute, Yigal Brook, making his mark, coming in to help out. So with Brook moving in, looks like to more of a defensive roller. That allows Budisa to push higher up on that left-hand side. Just to see if he stays there or no. You can see Budisa's flagging him on now to move up. So Brook will be more of that attacking role, just doing his defensive work there to help out his partner on that left-hand side. I defy you to find me a coach that does not appreciate hard defensive work from their wingers. Spoiler, doesn't exist. Hundle now. Plays it low for Whibley! Can't get it past Strauss! Strauss with the brave goalkeeping there as Whibley slid in to try and poke it past the on-rushing Tigers keeper. Nothing doing, though. Whibley. He get another crack at it here as he steps into the area, tried to get it to Nelson. It's cleared off, and it will roll just past the corner flag and out for should be a corner. It did go left of the corner flag. The AR initially had signaled for a throw. Has he modified his decision? Yes, he has. That is definitely a corner kick, and the players are lining up as such. Merriman comes in, comes down, falls nicely, but a little bit too eager there was Leo Nakabayashi. He got the one touch, just didn't let it settle low enough, and he ended up pounding that well high over the net. A little bit too eager, a little bit too rushed. Certainly the intent to make something happen off that set piece was there. As that goal kick nearly takes out our camera operator. But unflinching there, I believe that's Orlando Magic down there. Merriman's throw. Nakabayashi. Intercepted by Fabonge. It was a bit of a suicide pass there. Fabonge will try and burn the Highlanders here on the counter. Got tied up at his own feet, though, as he tried to nick it past Gertson. And in the end, Torabi was on the right. He had a step, and he was inside both defenders. Fabonge tried to take it himself. Meanwhile, the other way, the long ball snuffed out by Bin Saleh. Now Freiter. Ashigare gets past Hundle. Can he get past Nakabayashi? He can. That's a good bit of determination there. Now he goes down. That surely will be a foul, yes. And Hundle will go into the book for that. And Hundle scored the Highlanders' second goal. Now has the Highlanders' first card of the afternoon. Bashkara had done very well to shake off the challenge initially and step past. Goes down in the end. We'll have another look at it here. That little kick out from Hundle is what did it. So you can see Bashkara grabbing his left knee there. May not have been for the foul initially, but for more accumulation. Hundle, well, then again, I was about to say, it would be if Hundle had been excessively aggressive in the first half, but I don't recall him being as such. So that would likely mean it was just the straight yellow for the foul itself. Regardless of how, he's in the book. And now Patrick Nelson. Simon Stacey tries to cross for Whibley. That'll be deflected out for another corner for the Highlanders. Highlanders more or less picking up. They left off in this the first half, in this second half. Merriman will be taking this corner. Indeed, that run by Fabonge off of the Nakabayashi pass. The clearest chance that they've had in a while. Nelson all alone at the back post here calling for it. And now Brooke realizes that, moves over to mark the post. Merriman's delivery is right to the dot. Ashley tried to get ahead to it, couldn't make anything happen. Nakabayashi likewise cannot. And now brought down to the edge of the area. Bashkare not interested, says the referee, but now he stops the play anyway for an injury in the area. Coming together of heads. Whibley is not pleased, to say the least. But regardless, the players are calling for, as you can see, 4-bar there, just stopping the play, picking up the ball. Meanwhile, back in the area, some of the Tigers players calling for a trainer to come out immediately. Meanwhile, the Highlanders players are not generally quite amused. If that's Varela again, that's not going to be great. No, it's Davidson, actually, appears to be on the deck. But he's back up, who's briefly rubbing his head there. He does appear to be upwardly mobile. And Davidson will appear and be all right. So I imagine this will be a drop ball. As Torabi still has it. Meanwhile, Varela's trying to make his case here that it was an elbow, it looks like, from a Highlander that knocked out Davidson. The referee is not super interested. And in fact, he'll go have a chat with his assistant and See if there's anything more to be learned. Doesn't look like it. And it will be instead a drop ball, which the referee will take possession of here as Hundle waits for it. It'll likely just be kicked straight back to the Tigers. And that is where it goes. Directly back to Strouts. And away we go. Nice little turn there from Brooke. Fortunately, can't keep it in play, and Gertzen will throw this back in. Right into the heart of 3 Tigers, though. And it bounces around. Stacy comes up with it in the end. Goes down right on the touch line. Still in play. Now the referee decides that was one shove too many in the jostle of bodies on the far side, and that will go the way of FC Tigers. 10 minutes gone in this second half, 55th minute. Score remains as it was in the first half. FC Tigers of Vancouver 3, Victoria Highlanders FC 2. It's unclear whether it's Highlanders 2 FC or Highlanders FC 2. Regardless, it's the Highlanders Reserve in the PCSL Challenge Cup. Both teams looking for their first ever Challenge Cup. Someone's going to get it this afternoon. Will it be the home side? Or will it be the visitors from the mainland? And that is indeed a handball called on Hundle. Brett Freiter here, standing over this. Back it goes to Binsala. And Strouts. Wibley will try and close him down on the back pass. Does get rid of it in the end. Bashkara flicks it over to Freiter. Not moved at all was Merriman. Hundle tries to get past Davidson, and he just might do it. Sliding in there and coming together with the 2 Tigers defenders was Binsala. Nelson, edge of the area, tries to curl one in, but that's got far too much height and not nearly enough curl on it. And Davidson looks at his boots in a minor bit of disgust there. 10 goals in the regular season for number 10 in white. He'd love to add another here, and certainly his team would love one as well to get them back on level terms. Gertzen. All the way back to May. Fugbonge does well to intercept. Tomi Fugbonge. Back to Budisa. Varela. Fugbonge again. Davidson. Intercepted there briefly by Nakabayashi. Budisa will calmly bring this back to his back line. They'll try the middle again. Fugbonge clipped there by Nakabayashi. Unfairly, says the referee. Free kick Tigers. So in that spell of possession, we mentioned his name just coming back from halftime there. We mentioned it a lot in the first half, was Jude Barrow. Now he finally gets a chance to go on the ball and goes for a run. Takes his shot, it's deflected. Following up there was Barash, and in the back of the net, it's his 4th. Number 4 for number 8. Faravar Torabi has his 4th goal of the afternoon in the 58th minute. And once again, connecting with them, Tainer Bashkare. He sprinted in on the right there. So we'll take another look at this. Shot initially from Barrow was blocked, but Bashkare, first to it, first time cross with the right foot, and beaten to it there was Gertzen, as you can see, does not realize that he is about to be beaten to the ball easily there by Faravar Torabi. And once again, Torabi victimizing the backline for his 4th goal. 2nd assist of the afternoon for Tainer Bashkare. Net result before the hour mark. A 2-goal lead is restored for the Tigers. Davidson. Nice looking ball. Fortunately, can't find anybody wearing a red jersey. Ball comes off of Varela and Wibley there. Eng tries to make, Nakabayashi tries to make his presence known there. Now here comes Eng. Freiter. Bashgare. Little turn, nice little clip. Eng does well to get there. Merriman now. Hundle. Over the top. Only as far as Budisa. Strouts. Eng. Nakabayashi. Clipped by Budisa. That will be a free kick. Will there be anything more to that? Oh, there may be. Referee didn't like the extracurriculars that happened there, and he'll give a stern talking to Tomi Fugbonge. Meanwhile, Budisa will plead his case to no avail. Referee isn't interested. And the free kick will be taken here. They take her standing with it. Date and Nelson. They may go directly for goal here up against the wall. 3 Tigers in it. Nope, 4 now. Strouts tries to organize his defense. Who takes this one, Date or Nelson? Now the wall's lined up. Options at the edge of the area. So Torabi comes back now to help out on defense, perhaps sensing some sort of short play trickery here. And it will be Nelson. Chips it back. Post flicked over the bar. He found the head of Leo Nakabayashi. But Nakabayashi, once again, unable to keep the shot on target. Great effort, though, from the substitute. As Date fakes the take. And he does so well here. Davidson not able to contain the substitute, who unfortunately was unable to contain that free kick, or at the very least control it. Bashgare. Fugbonge leaves it. Barrow also leaves it, but he leaves it for Nelson. Deflects off of Fugbonge favorably for Simon Stacy. Nelson cuts back. Nelson was looking for Nakabayashi there. Sliding in to save the day. There's no up and sell it. Over the top. Nelson chests down. 1 touch, 2 touch. Couldn't cleanly bring it under control, and Budisa clears. Stacy. We'll end up getting a throw out of that. Thought that came off of his boot last. Not so, says the AR, who had a much better angle than I did. As some substitutes begin warming up on the Highlanders side of the pitch. They will take this deep throw in. Gertson's throw. Up comes Strouts to claim. Just quickly sprints to the edge of his area. Rolls it out to the left for Budisa. Fugbonge. Intercepted. Good anticipation there by Vinsalet to get rid of it. Nakabayashi, 1 touch, 2 touch. Gonna fall right to Varea. Just to ping it right off the head of Torabi. Does he want 5? Well, of course he wants it. Is he going to get it? Not on this occasion. Once again, the problem with pushing for these goals as we are at 63 minutes played is all the opportunities it's going to present on the counter, and the one man you do not want charging in on goal is the man who has been clinical all afternoon with 4 goals to his name. Hundle. Varela clears. Falls nicely to Gertson. Hundle. Nelson. Wibley. Ing from Merriman puts it centrally. Binsala has been very good in the second half and finding those final balls before they become a danger. Sniffed out a number of seeking passes. Whibley as well to get in front of him this time. Merriman, first time ball. Does fall for Whibley, who's managed to get past. Whibley, left footer, can't get it through. He tried to go between the wickets there, but Strauss was not to be denied. Or rather, Strauss did deny. Stacey's ball is in the back of the net. It's his second of the afternoon. And Simon Stacey has the Highlanders back to within one. Takes a bounce there, and the first touch from Stacey is a perfect one. Unfortunately, the follow-through has left Lucas Strauss on the deck, which you can see here. The long cross, not sure came off of Nelson's head and then fell to Stacey. But regardless, that was a beautiful long ball to get it into the area in the first place. There'll be a brief break here. As Strauss composes himself, and the captain, Torabi, has a brief chat with the referee about why that wasn't called back for a foul. Referee unmoved, though, as they tend to be in most appeals. Regardless, it remains 4-3. That scoreline has not been overturned. The goal will stand, barring some truly magical appeal. And the 66th minute, one goal separates the Highlanders from a level scoreline. But conversely, 35 minutes separate FC Tigers of Vancouver from a PCSL Challenge Cup. Curse of the commentator striking there as I was praising Bin Saleh. Ends up allowing Whibley to slip behind him. And although Strauss did well to deny Whibley the first time, in the ensuing chaos, Stacey comes through. Nakabayashi. Eng. Stacey. Nearly a dangerous back pass with Torabi sniffing around the back line. Merriman looks long. Hundle tries to get ahead to it. It will fall nicely. Stacey up against Brook. Nelson's ball is touched in. Can Hundle get around the corner? He's brought down. Referee isn't interested. We'll head out to the corner. Brook now, and sniffing past him was Hunt. It's a very nice job there to get around the right side. Oh, that was a cheeky little cross. Could have been difficult, but taking no chances was Lucas Strauss to grab that and haul it in. Meanwhile, supporters still voicing their dissent with the referee over not calling a penalty on Hundle. Eng's header. Nakabayashi can't get there ahead of Davidson. Bonge. Barrow. Budisa goes long. Brooks trying to get there. Won't get there ahead of Ashley. Ashley looks long for Nelson as Nelson checked his run. The flag is still down. He has managed to win it. That was a penalty in the first half. It is a penalty in the second half. We saw this in the first. Charging out was Ethan May to try and stop Torabi. Clipped the man, drew the penalty, and again we see it here. Patrick Nelson kept himself on side, went in for the ball, out came Strauss, and you can see there, Strauss tried to retract his hands in time, or at least get all ball, but ultimately brings down Patrick Nelson, who will now go to the spot to try and level the score before 70 minutes. Wouldn't this make some sprint to the finish line? Well, he's got to score it first. Nelson against Strauss. Nelson buries it! Strouds guessed correctly, just could not make contact. Patrick Nelson has himself a goal from the spot. Well placed. Strouds did everything he could to get there. Guessed correctly. And he didn't miss by much. Oh, he did not miss that by much at all. And we are level at 4. Well, how about that? 70 minutes in. Highlanders 4, Tigers 4. And a turnover there in midfield as Eng gets it over to Stacy. Right off the Tigers' kickoff. Date. Gertson. Long ball looks again for Nelson, who chests it down. Keeps his feet, but in comes Vela to get rid of it. That's twice now Nelson's managed to sneak in as he managed to figure out his run here. Quick throw taken. Hundle back to Gertson. He'll try that long ball again. Varela's deflection. Oh, it had to be well taken there by Freiter. So I knew that Wibley all alone. Still trying his Wibley. Nelson backs out. Hundle. Merriman. They'll spread the ball around here. Merriman switches it back in. Little cross flicked over by Wibley. Stacy will keep this in. Up against Brook. Hundle trying to shake off Agbonge. He will. Goes low. Through a knot of legs there. A net of bodies. And pings it off the off the fourth official's covering there. And we do have a substitution coming in here, it looks like. Yes, indeed. We have one substitution coming onto the pitch for FC Tigers. Get the numbers for you in just a moment here. But it looks like... Is that Carson Bushman-Dormand who's come in? No, not quite. Looks like Saranac has checked back into this match, actually. And that ball from Drade's not the best, but Merriman does well to sprint and get there first and even win the throw in the process.
Substitution in the 71st minute for FC Tigers Vancouver. Leading the game, number 95, Yigel Brook. Coming into the game, number 25, Luke Soranich.
So that is basically a reverse of what we saw at halftime. Brook comes back out. Luke Soranich comes back in, and that's not really a surprise there. Soranich has been or when he was playing the first half, was certainly a crucial part of that midfield with Jude Barrow. And Brook had really struggled to make an impact there. You saw Stacy doing decently well on the right-hand side against him. Meanwhile, Bashkara feeling a little bit of a cramp, possibly more there as he's down on the deck. And up he gets. Really feeling that left leg there. And will the referee tell him to go off the pitch or not? And he will indeed get off the pitch. And is that enough? Perhaps more worryingly for the Tigers is that his day done. As Taynor Bashkara has been excellent on this right side in an attacking role here for Tigers. He will sit there and hopefully shake it off as play continues. So Tigers down a man here. And there is a substitute being readied here on the far side as someone has taken off his practice jersey. Just waiting to see who that is. During the meantime, Stacy to Hundle. Hundle sprints in. Deflects back to Nelson. Cuts back. Nelson tries his luck, but he's over the bar. And there's a signal from the referee. The substitution is made. So coming into midfield here, we'll take another look at this chance here from Nelson. Hundle does well. And the deflection falls kindly. And the left footer well over the bar. In the meantime, wait confirmation on that substitution. More importantly, That'd be the first shot that he's actually failed to beat the keeper with all afternoon. Farvar Torabi still on target,
Number 90, Tenor Bashgir.
as May is forced into making a save.
Coming into the game, number 9, Giordano Pinto.
Meanwhile, it's Pinto coming into the midfield here. See what he can offer here. Meanwhile, Whibley. Nakabayashi. Back to Whibley. Crosses. Stacy tried to acrobatically bring that down, but the flying half bike ultimately goes a lot of nowhere. And instead, it's Tigers going the other way. Deflection there. And managing to bring that under control is Gertson. Finds Whibley, who finds Hundle. Davidson trying to shake off Nelson. Won't do it in the end, and in fact, it'll be a throw in favor of the Highlanders. Eng. Can't get past. And now it's Fegbonge. Plays it out to the right. Pinto. Intercepted by Nakabayashi. Go for a run up against Barrow. Hundle back inside for Nelson. Takes a touch and pauses. Gives it back to Nakabayashi. Stacy. Into the area he goes. Nakabayashi. He's looking to curl that around for Date, I would imagine. And here goes Whibley trying to get around the corner on Frater. Frater does well to stay with him. Merriman. That cross to no one in particular is headed by Barrow. Up steps Gertson to keep the play alive. Nelson heads it centrally for Hundle. Hundle drives inside. Cam Hundle couldn't get the shot off. A crucial intervention there by Barrow. Battle of the nines there. Fegbonge ends up coming at the better of it. Sliding in is Ashley. It's a big gamble. It's allowed Fegbonge to get behind. And now Pinto. It's Gertson does just enough to keep Fegbonge off the ball. Budisa intercepted by Stacy. Stacy to Hundle. Hundle has a bit of space to work with and some support. Just keeps it himself, cuts inside. Nelson. Stacy. Nelson. He's got some support in midfield. That's where he goes. Eng. Back out to Stacy. Whibley's on the far left-hand side. Can Stacy get it to him? Goes around the corner. Stacy crosses, and that was looking for Whibley, but Whibley was not in that area of the park, or indeed anywhere close to it. As the supporters gloat the one-way traffic, difficult to disagree with them at this point. There have been only a few counters this half that I can recall. All of them involved a long ball, either to Fegbonge or to Torabi. Hundle. Meanwhile, foul in the box there, unfortunately committed by a Highlander for Simon Stacy. I'm sure he would have wished it was the other way around, but typically to do that, you have to not foul someone in the first place. Meanwhile, the referee isn't quite happy with what he's seeing here, and he'll have that done again. And now away we go. Ceramic gets it out to the left, Budisa. Davidson. Budisa looks low. For why not? Torabi. He'll just sprint this himself. Merriman takes the body and gets a big bump for his trouble, but breaks up the attack. Only as far as Fegbonge, though. Barrow. Ceramic. Freiter. Crosses. This one does find the head of Torabi, and for the first time this afternoon that I can recall, Torabi does not hit the target. He's been money in that situation 4 times prior. Or at least in a situation to draw a penalty in one of those 4 times to then become money. Order of operations, it's important. Regardless, that puts him at 4 for 6 on the afternoon. Still a shooting rate, a strike rate strikers would dream of. Meanwhile, Eng a little bit too stern in his challenge with Fagbonge there, and he is called for it. Also, one Highlander is standing at the midfield stripe here. We may be seeing a substitution momentarily. And indeed, that is the call. Substitution being made here. And it looks like it will be Date coming off. Paulo Date had an interesting afternoon on defense, has had his hands full trying to deal with Torabi. Indeed, the entire back line has, as we're being honest. And coming in to replace him will be, and we'll get that for you in just a moment, as there you can see the substitute makes his way to the pitch. Barrow. Budisa crosses. Headed clear by Merriman. Quite the duel there. Headed right back into the mixer. And that'll deflect. Keeping it in play, though, is Pinto.
Substitution in the 80th minute for your Victoria Highlanders. Leading the game, number 9, Paulo Dates. Coming into the game, number 16, Sergio Duran.
Sergio Duran coming in there. It'll be interesting to see what kind of role he takes. Will he go into midfield? Will he go onto the back line? Will he take a form of a fullback spot? As it stands right now, it's still Merriman, Ashley, and Gertson along that back line. It almost makes you wonder, have Highlanders switched to a 3-man back line? Or at the very least, 3 with a sort of defensive midfielder shield anchoring in front of it. That does indeed look like what they've done. This looks like a 3-1-4-2 here, with Duran filling that role of a midfield destroyer type. Meanwhile, foul committed there on the far side by Stacy. Taken quickly by Budisa. Davidson. Budisa puts the cross in. Headed clear by Merriman. Whibley turns against Freider. He's asking to do a lot here, and Freider will just clip it right back into the attack. Merriman banks it off. Mercifully misses the trophy table. And mercifully misses our camera there on the second deck. So everyone wins, really. Well, except for the Tigers, who concede the throw-in. Merriman's throw. Met first by Pinto, before Whibley gets himself in there, and Barrow. Back to Varela. Budisa. Salah looks long. That time, the long ball for Torabi didn't connect. And this time, though, can a long ball for the Highlanders connect? No, Salah gets over and just puts that well into touch, out into the bleachers on the far side. Only as far as the athletic track, though. It'll be a Highlanders throw. Hundle takes the throw and turns. Lays it off for Ing. Turn, lays it off for Duran. There's a low cross. Knocked back out by Barea. Kobayashi sprinting to get there. He won't, as Barrow puts it forward to Pinto. Chance for a break here for Tigers. If Pinto can get this ball through. Looking for Fagbonge, excuse me. It's the right idea. Merriman gets there first. Whibley. Hundle. Back to Whibley. moving further and further forward with Ng. Now Stacy. Puts on a bit of a burst of speed, puts it low. Can Nelson get a second boot on it? No. Freider ultimately clears it. Hundel steps around one. Still Hundel. Hundel tries his luck, saved. Nelson tries the first time volley off the post, or was that a save? Either way, off the doorstep, the Highlanders are denied. And we remain level at 4. And judging by the high five being given from Binsala to Strouts there, that may have been a fantastic double save from Lucas Strouts after all. We'll take another look here. There's the clearance. And when it falls down again, Hundel moves in, forces the first save out of Strouts. Nelson misses the volley, and the follow-up here from Stacy. Off the line from Freya in the end. That close to the go-ahead goal in the 85th minute. We'll pace off this free kick now. Assuming it is a free kick and not a drop ball. Meanwhile, it looks like Ashley's heading over to touch. Is his day done? Hopefully not. Or is he just going to get a drink of water, perhaps? Yes, indeed. Just a water break over at the far side, as this free kick will surely be directly on target here. Hundel and Nelson standing over it. What a place for a free kick with time winding down. Nakabayashi providing some sort of disruption option up forward. Now here comes the rest of the Highlanders to provide support. Meanwhile, another defender on the post. No chances being taken here as now the Highlanders move forward. It'll be a low shot right into the midst of Strouts. Deflected out for a corner. There was a lot of power on that shot, so not surprising that it goes straight out. Meanwhile, the two-goal man, Stacy, goes for a seat. And he will be replaced after this corner. Look at that for you. Here comes Duran to keep it into the area. And now for Batista. Chance for a counter here. Charging back on defense there is Caden Martin-Perreault. Making his debut quite memorable here into this match. Problem is, Bonge had other ideas. Stopped in the end. But there's been a brief stop here as down in the penalty area, way behind the play, is there's a Tigers defender down in his own penalty area. So it'll be another unintended water break here, as that looks like Binsala. It is, in fact, Binsala who's on the deck. Varela's already been down with injury once. Now Binsala's down. Bashgara is still off the pitch, having taken his seat and been replaced by Pinto after his injury. And he might be done permanently here. We'll have to wait and see. Regardless, Binsala is back up. And the referee will give a drop ball. So getting back to that other substitution there, Caden Martin-Perreault coming in for the Highlanders for two-goal man Simon Stacy. It'll be interesting to see, does he take Stacy's spot on the right wholesale, 1-for-1? Does he move into a different role? As it stands right now, he's more in a forward position here, the left-hand side of the attack. So does that mean Hundel moves over? And indeed, Hundel's looking a little more central, and it's Whibley who's moved to the right as Nelson flicks on. It's more of a three-man attack unit now with Whibley on the right, Nelson in the middle, and Martin-Perreault on the left.
Last call for beverages. Last call for alcohol down at the Country Grocer.
So more of a 3-4-3 setup at this point. Highlanders want that victory in regular time. They've gone with an offensive formation here. They feel that they can make it happen. the looming threat of Torabi notwithstanding. As that ball banks off of Davidson, out for a throw. As we approach the end of regulation time. Extra time and penalties beckoning. Hundle. Martin Perreault back to Merriman. Under pressure there from Pinto. Ashley. Duran. Gertzen. Wibley for Nelson. Nelson turns, he has some space. Nakabayashi, Hundle. Martin Perreault. Wibley. Hundle. Closed down by 4 Tigers, but he comes up with it in the end, does Hundle. He's got no support on his right, but he does have a lot of space, and that's where he goes. Inside for Nakabayashi for the 1-2. Hundle keeps it in. He's got Varela on him now. Coming on defense there was Torabi to break it up, only briefly. We've played the full 90. Waiting for referees' instructions and stoppages now, but first, offside called there. One of the few offsides on the afternoon, taken quickly.
The official has indicated there will be a minimum of 3 additional minutes.
And it will be 3 minutes for stoppages. Meanwhile, Wibley slides in, concedes the foul.
Everybody that paid that $5 admission has not been picked up, so we've gone ahead and drawn a new number. That's for a drawstring backpack and Highlanders.
So with 3 minutes for stoppages, free kick here, opportunity for Tigers, which they take short. What have they got cooked up here?
4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. You can head down to the Country Grocer tent and pick up your prize.
Sliding in there, well done is Eng. But Nakabayashi loses out to Figbonge. Saranic. Davidson. Duran. Gertzen. Nelson, has he kept his run on side? The flag is still down and stays down. He's looking for support. He finds it in the form of Wibley. Hundle. Martin Perreault is wide open on the left. Duran. Nelson. Nelson cuts in. Chips it, looking for Hundle. Hundle controls, puts it low, looking for Martin Perreault. Couldn't get it past the outstretched Lucas Strauts. Strauts, a vital intervention. 4 goals have gone past him, but he's kept plenty more out of the back of his net as Lucas Strauts. It might not be a 4-4 scoreline. Strauts isn't on his game. Meanwhile, Torabi. First time cross for Freitz. Frater, I should say. Rhett Frater with that cross finding nobody. And that one did find the head of a Tiger. Flicked on, but wide of the net. It's that Pinto, who very nearly, that goal would have been golden, surely. Giordano Pinto, excuse me. That close to handing FC Tigers of Vancouver the PCSL Challenge Cup. And who knows, he might yet get another chance as Duran fouls him to stop that promising attack. And the referee decides he has seen enough. The Tigers are more than a little upset that they're not allowing the free kick to be taken. However, the protests are minimal. And at the end of 90 minutes, it is FC Tigers of Vancouver 4, Victoria Highlanders 2 FC 4. We have some goals to look at because, my goodness, this match this afternoon has lacked not for goals, and there have been some nice ones. We came into this half with Highlanders down 3-2. We end 4-4, and here's how we got here. lovely little cross and a lovely little header. How often have we said that? Once again, Faravor Torabi grabbing his fourth on the assist from Tainor Bashkara. The Highlanders, though, as Merriman's long cross falls for Stacy. Takes a couple of bounces there. Merriman well deserving of an assist on the afternoon. This is just a beautiful switch. Hard to tell if it comes off of Nelson or Budisa. Regardless, it's the boot of Stacy that matters. And then that was to make it 4-3. Patrick Nelson then made it 4-4. First earning this penalty. Strouts made contact. Gloves on boots tends to end in penalties, and it certainly did in the first half for the Tigers. But this time, Patrick Nelson, Highlanders' leading goal scorer in the PCSL regular season, knots the scoreline at 4 from the penalty spot, which means extra time and perhaps even penalties beckons. We're going to take a short break. Extra time is coming up next. Welcome back to Centennial Stadium at the University of Victoria, everyone. My name is Arturo, and after a full 90 minutes, we do not have a winner of the PCSL Challenge Cup, but not for lack of trying. You can see in your foreground there, 22 for the Victoria Highlanders. That is Maurizio Abdi. He has subbed in for Ian Wibley at the end of regulation time. He will be on the field for 2 halves of 15 minutes each, and if we still do not have an outright winner, it's to the magic and heartbreak of penalty kicks for the PCSL Challenge Cup. Once again, as was announced at the start of this contest, neither of these teams have won the Challenge Cup before. My goodness, they say you never forget your first. What a way to get it in extra time, at least, possibly even penalties. High drama in the provincial capital this afternoon. Patrick Nelson for Cam Hundle as we start things off brightly here. Hundle cuts inside. Great save by Strauts. He's made a few of those. He might need to make another one here. As Fagbonge will try and clear, and he will. Quick start to the half by the Highlanders. They try to end it early, or at least get themselves in front early. There are no golden goals here. We're playing the full 30 minutes of extra time, no matter what. Lucas Strauts making another big save. He's made more than a few. And that one keeps his FC Tigers of Vancouver in this tie. As the Lakeside boys sing down to our broadcast right, just in the stands. The crowd here at Centennial Stadium on the edge of their seat, if they're not already standing and cheering. Abdi, what can he provide here off the bench? Fresh legs against Budisa. Charges up the middle. Only gets as far as Sranich, but Nelson will bail him out. Hundle. Once again, it's a 3-man backline for the Highlanders as they switch things up. And that switch seems to have worked out well for them. This 3-4-3 formation has been giving the Tigers fits. And more importantly, it's choked off the service to Farivar Torabi, whose 16-minute hat trick put the Tigers 3 goals to the good. He'd even add a 4th after the Highlanders had picked up 2 in that first half. But undeterred, the Highlanders would add 2 more to level at 4. You can tell it's a good story because it rhymes at the end. That's the hallmark there. Budasi. Budisa to Fagbonge to Bensala. Bensala has been great in the back. Snuffed out more than his fair share of passes, only really beaten once. And the chaos in that led to Stacy knocking in the 4-3 goal. Aggressive challenge there on Torabi. Free kick granted, no real surprise there. Meanwhile, free kick going the way of the Highlanders. So they'll bring that back. Ashley flares that out to the left. The captain had his hands full tonight, trying to contain Torabi, and he hasn't been successful all the time, but on the balance, he's kept everybody else off the score sheet. The problem is the one guy that's got through has 4 to his name. Abdi. Duran's low ball in. Snuffed out by Varea and cleared only as far as Nakabayashi. Pressured by Pinto. Merriman will follow up. Martin Perot on the far left there. Ashley once again looks long. Abdi. Abdi's showing a big target on the far side there, and Tigers are giving him space out in the wings. Abdi cuts into the area nicely. Abdi cuts a sharp-angled shot, slaved by Strauts. Nobody there to follow up. Into the area it goes again. Headed clear by Varea. Hundle. And that ball deflects nicely. And away goes the 4-goal man, Farivar Torabi. And now, it looks like did he indeed cross the end? It looked like Torabi had kept that in, but no. Now he gets into a shoving match here with Merriman. The referee will likely have a stern talking to with both of them, as it will be called back. And I don't think anything further will come out of this. After 95 minutes, you can imagine that patiences will have worn thin. Hundel had done very well there to backtrack, and after he'd given the ball away, or at least been stripped of the ball, which had led to Torabi going on that tear. And it looks like it was not a throw-in, but indeed a free kick Torabi had given away, which might explain why he was just a little bit more upset than usual. Meanwhile, behind the play, just very slowly getting up is Tomi Fugbongbe. But he's back to his feet now, no worse for wear. And the players will take the opportunity to have a quick water break. Now they get back into position. This play gets back underway. Hundel finds Abdi. Abdi up against Davidson. He'll get there first, takes it to the end line, keeps it in. No, he does not. Davidson very well there to shield the ball. No, they say it's a corner. And they're saying that it came off of the heel of Davidson. And Davidson is incensed, and he's gone in unfortunately got himself into the book here, as he's gone in dissented rather aggressively with the referee. So Davidson finds himself in the book in the 96th minute. I will admit, I certainly from here thought that was a goal kick. But the assistant referee on the near side was right there. And he says he saw it clip off of the heel of Davidson. And despite the many protestations, including one yellow card-worthy one, it is in fact a corner. I believe that's Merriman setting up to take this corner. The delivery from Merriman. Strouts punches. Unfortunately, a foul was conceded in the box regardless. And it will, after all of that, be a goal kick for Tigers. So at the end of all that, Davidson gets a yellow. And the result is more or less what he wanted in the end. A goal kick, in effect, for the Tigers. Eng outweights Pinto. Merriman goes up the left. That won't stay in play. Oh, will it? It will curl just back into play. Nelson looking for some help from Martin Perreault. He'll try and run this in. He'll get stopped. And the double team there provided by Freiter and Binsala. Here comes Davidson now, though, being watched by Abdi. He'll bring in Budisa. Saranich. Out to the far right they go. Back inside for Barrow. Barrow hasn't had as many touches on the ball as I'll bet he would have liked. About the last hour or so, that change in formation has helped, but so has getting the ball. You would have put money on Faravar Torabi to bury that. Ethan May comes up massive with the first save, and then Torabi puts it into the side netting. Pinto with the through ball. You can see it there. Ashley out of position. May comes way off his line. And then with a gaping net and only defenders putting their bodies on the line, Faravar Torabi hits side netting only. A massive sigh of relief from the Highlanders faithful. Nakabayashi goes low. Binsala will get there first. Budisa. Davidson. Tried to put that low, but there are 4 Highlanders in his way. And now Abdi. Abdi tries to poke. He does, in fact, nutmeg Budisa, but not with enough force to make it matter. And now the counter goes the other way. Torabi sets it up for Pinto. Pinto trying to look for that return pass, but he's forced back by some tenacious defending there by Duran. Martin Perreault looking at Seranic. And that will go out for a throw for the Tigers. Through 10 minutes of extra time. In about 5 minutes or so, we'll take our first brief break. And then the second half of extra time will begin. Nakabayashi pressing higher and higher here. It's been Sala. Turned back. Does shake off Nakabayashi, though. Finds Seranic in the end. Barrow trying to build out of the back as he's done so much before, but Hundle this time will not be deterred. Nelson chests down, puts that right onto the boot of Seranic. Looking for Davidson or Torabi, splits both of them, but Gertzen gets there first, and May will just pop that almost straight up, and it will bounce and stay in play ever so briefly before the spin takes care of the rest. Sure, May would have liked a slightly clearer clearance. But nevertheless, Tigers possess it. Varea. Barrow over to Binsala. On the counter now, Martin Perreault. Looks for Nelson. He's found him, chests it down. Takes a touch. Through ball, looking for the run of Hundle. It's well defended there by Budisa. Only as far as Eng. Muscled off the ball there was Martin Perreault. As Pinto gets it over to Davidson, and here come Tigers. Martin Perreault looks long, nobody making that run whatsoever. Instead, Strouts letting Varea start things off. Budisa. Davidson with Barrow. Barrow moves forward. Ball doesn't follow him though. Budisa is directed to go back to Binsala, and that's where it goes. Seranic. Right in the heart of the Highlanders press, which is easing off just a bit. Nakabayashi. Merriman. Nelson. Martin Perreault does manage to get that to Nakabayashi. And that's lost though to Barrow. Barrow to Torabi. Sliding in there's Merriman, but Torabi is not deterred. Up against Duran now. Torabi shakes off Martin Perreault. With Bonge. Striding forward. Clipped from behind. Referee isn't interested. Torabi will take over. Still Torabi. Blocked at the last there. Gertzen and Ashley getting the job done as Abdi puts it low. Won't be able to keep that in, and Nelson won't be able to get there in time. So it'll be instead a throw. Seranic. As the Tigers are now showing more life here as we approach the end of the first half of extra time. Having said that, Torabi is moving very slowly back from an offside position. I have to imagine he's running on fumes at this point. Deadly as he is only human. Budisa. Moving further and further to the right here as he crosses over. Seranic moves over to fill that gap on the left. This switch of personnel allowed Tigers forward. This is a more assured possession from the Tigers than we've seen in a while. Bonge. Budisa. Puts it low. Seranic off the heels of Pinto. Clipped. And Nakabayashi will get there first. Abdi. Abdi looking for a way out. Doesn't see one. Leaves it for Gertzen. Gertzen Goes long. Nelson, did he check his run? He did not. He's offside. AR was right there. No disputing that call. As time ticks down here. Durant did very well to shake off Torabi there. Under heavy pressure. Abdi. Durant back to Gertzen. And that is indeed the end of the first half of extra time. We've got 15 minutes to go, and if nothing is resolved at that point, it will be penalty kicks. Though if you are Tigers, surely you must think this would have been over had it not been for Ethan May denying Faravir Torabi, and then Torabi himself hitting the side netting. Off the top of the half, though, the Highlanders certainly looked lively. Nelson to Hundle, cuts back, and Strauss does very well to deny Cam Hundle. That would have been Hundle's second on the afternoon. And here is that Torabi chance I mentioned. Pinto does well. Ashley is beaten. Torabi is in behind. Ethan May comes up massive, and then Torabi, goal at his mercy, only 2 defenders in his way, hits side netting only. You can see Ashley sliding in there for the block. Gertzen standing at attention at the post. Ultimately, not needed, and that is how close we came to a goal in the first half of extra time. Brief break. The second half of extra time will be up in just a moment. Welcome back to Centennial Stadium. We do have one substitution from the halftime, as it's just being read out right now, as Davidson, currently on a yellow, will be coming off. And Ioje Fulami will be taking his place. Davidson will, of course, be known to Highlanders fans from their first team. Did have a little bit of an issue losing his composure in that half. And as we kick off, 15 minutes to go in this match before penalties. Will someone step up and be the hero before then? Ioje Fulami, having checked in for Tigers, perhaps it will be him. Meanwhile, there were some calls there for perhaps a handball or something similar, but nothing doing there, and back the other way. Go Tigers! But that ball just skips away And Ethan May is quick off his line. Meanwhile, the advantage is called back, and that will be a foul back near the midfield circle originally. So after all that, there will be a free kick for Tigers. Now, Highlanders have to be careful here. The referee's already shown he does not tolerate dissent. Davidson already been booked for Tigers. Taken now, Fugbonge. Finds Torabi. Back to Budisa. And that high drive there, very high, not on target. Though if you were going to have one guy take your shots for you, it's probably that man right there, Farver Torabi, who once again has all 4 goals for FC Tigers. The hat trick within 16 minutes. And then a goal in the second half to restore a 2-goal advantage at that point. But he has not been able to replicate it since. Though, again, if you're asking someone who's already on 4 goals to add another, you can't really put that on the 4-goal man, can you? He's done everything that's been asked of him. Meanwhile, Caden Martin-Perreault. Back to Merriman. Nakabayashi. Nakabayashi steps, loses out though. 1 step over too many. Gets the deflection, so it'll be a goal kick in the end. Good defending there by Rhett Freiter. Strauss will take his time over this goal kick. Not too much time though. Not sure how he favors his chances in penalties. Certainly has to be thinking that of the 2 goalkeepers, he's certainly been tested more, or at least has come up with bigger saves compared to his counterpart at the other end of the pitch. Hundle looking for Nelson. Good leg stuck out there by Saranic. And now Fugbonge up the middle. Eng is waiting for him. Merriman gets there, banks it off of Fugbonge. This could be dangerous. It's Gertson, excuse me, not Merriman. But Gertson does end up drawing the foul in the end. Ashley does indeed take it rather quickly over to Duran. Sergio Duran flares it out to the left. Caden Martin-Perreault takes it on himself, charging up the left. Nelson. Nakabayashi. Tight quarters here as the Tigers compress their lines. Just a bank of red jerseys. Not many ways through, but unless you're willing to go offside, which Duran was there, and that's typically not a good idea on account of it being against the rules. Barrow to take this. Taken short. Saranic. Over to Varea. Abdi watches him. So the Highlanders press moving up fairly high here, which means they'll need to go long, will Tigers. And that is brought down and out by Ayodeji Fulami. Fulami having coming in just for this last phase here of extra time. Gonzalez finds Pinto, whose header looked good. Merriman is unfortunately not a teammate. Eng. Abdi. Abdi dances his way into the box, but only gets so far. Budisa recovers. And back they go on the counter. Striding forward. That's a lovely ball forward. Can Torabi get there? May was going to get there, but Ashley made absolutely certain that the intervention from the goalkeeper was not necessary. Martin-Perreault looks centrally. There's Hundle. Can't get there ahead of Varea. And Budisa instead. That also falls for Ashley. Saranic. Nelson barges in, gets a boot there, but no one following up on it. Hundle had backed off. Martin-Perreault had backed off. Nakabayashi and Eng nowhere to be seen, and Duran is busy shielding the back line. Abdi as well had moved in more defensively to keep an eye. on the threats being posed there by Folami and Fagbonge. That will be a throw for Tigers. About 10 minutes to go. FC Tigers of Vancouver 4. Victoria Highlanders 2 FC 4. 4 goals from Farivar Torabi. Looking for a 5th. He's onside. Pinto is wide open. Saranic briefly puts his head in his hands. Needed to hit the target there. Instead goes sailing over the crossbar and is duly serenaded by opposing supporters. Nelson can't get there ahead of Saranic. Following up though is Ing. Varela heads that back out. Abdi gets past Folami. Duran back to Abdi. Abdi still going. Hundle tried to get a touch. Didn't get that quite right. Duran up against Budisa. Love the little back heel from Budisa, and Folami will now go the other way. Aldeji Folami sliding in is Abdi to stop Torabi from having another run at the 3-man back line. Torabi, of course, has 4 for the Highlanders. 2 from Simon Stacey, who has since been subbed off. 1 from Cam Hundle. And the equalizing goal was from the penalty spot by Patrick Nelson. That's how we got where we are right now. With no small amount of goalkeeping heroics from Lucas Strauts. And Ethan May has shown up when he's needed to show up. Meanwhile, another stern talking to about dissent by the referee there to Fagbonge, who I imagine is getting his last talking to. As Freiter will buy some time here. As Salah had been stretching to try and get rid of some cramps, so I can only imagine how many players must be cramping up here, running on fumes. Budasi, Folami, back to Budasi. Budasi charging up from that fullback position. Abdi, that surely will be a yellow, and indeed it is. The tactical yellow, as it were. Not wanting to let that attack get out of hand, but into the book goes the substitute, Maurizio Abdi. In the 113th minute. Or 114th, perhaps. It might have been just on the minute change. And it is indeed the 114th. So we get that officially read out. And now a free kick opportunity here for FC Tigers. How many bodies do they want to send forward for this? They've got Pinto forward. Folami and Fagbonge are forward. Torabi, of course, is forward. 4 potential targets. Will they add more? The first substitution coming in here. Cam Hundle is going off. What a day he's had. It's been a good one. Can't fault him for that. And coming in to replace Hundle is number 7, Mateo Ventura.
Substitution in the 24th minute for your Victoria Highlanders. Leading the game.
And that free kick goes a little bit of nowhere. And Budisa is upset. He has to be careful here. Ultimately is not punished. And Ashley takes the goal kick, or the free kick, excuse me. Abdi will chase this down. Will he get there ahead of Varea? No, Varea will calmly block that off. It'll be a goal kick the other way. Strauss. In comes the substitute. What impact that would have been, Mateo Ventura. Fresh legs, though. Freshest on the pitch, I would imagine. If there was ever a player to scare a goal on pure athleticism alone, that's probably who it would be. He might get his chance here. Ventura. Against Saranic, cuts inside, tries a right footer. He'll hit the target, but not with much power or trickery to trouble Strauss. Budisa. That'll cut inside, dribbles off a few legs. Varea will calmly thumped that to midfield regardless, and waiting was Torabi, but so was Ashley. Saranic. Sala forward to Barrow. Budisa. About 5 minutes left before penalty kicks. May will get there. Torabi staring him down. Ashley here. Again, looking long. Ventura flicks it out. Not far enough, but Budisa's attempt to clear is out for a throw anyway, so in effect, still a Highlanders ball. Gertson throws that to Ashley. Ventura does well to win it back. Chips it forward. Not Ventura, excuse me. That was Nakabayashi looking for Ventura. In comes Ashley. Ing has moved a little bit further back to help out. Not a surprise. And there, Abdi concedes the foul. His attempt to make the run there was Folami. Who's definitely been a positive influence on this game for Tigers. Hasn't been able to find them a goal, but he's made that left side fairly dangerous. Especially for a three-man back line. Gertson's going to have to be sharp for the remainder of this match, which mercifully, I suppose, is only 3 or 4 more minutes. And then penalties beckon. Saranic. Bonge. Barrow. Budisa has moved way up. That's where the ball goes. Picks the target. Not the right one. Ashley saw that one. It was always going to be Torabi there, wasn't it? Ashley goes long. This is Ventura. Can he get a toe to it? No. Well defended by Binsala. Strouts will confidently claim. Binsala. Right up the middle. Durant trying to get there ahead of Barrow and does. Ventura. Charges around. Fair challenge as the referee, but it falls to Abdi. That's well defended there. Excellent defending by Binsala. And it's kept in by Budisa, excuse me. Blocked by Duran. Ventura. Duran. First touch wasn't great. Second one. Banks off. And that will be a goal kick. Meanwhile, defender down in the penalty area for Tigers. It's Varea. I have to imagine this is just a bit of cramping. He's put quite the shift in, has Varea, and he's already been off the pitch once. Or briefly off the pitch, I should say. So he never actually officially left the game. But he was looked at for an extended period of time. Ventura. Can he make something happen here? Crosses. And will stay in play, but no one's going to get to that. Nelson steps over. Merriman. Almost played full time here in extra time. Claimed by Strauss. But he's dropped it! And he will make sure Ventura, Nakabayashi, that was a coming together and a half, wasn't it? What would have surely been an ending nobody could have predicted had that gone over the goal line. There's a little bit of a heart-in-mouth moment there for all the Tigers supporters and players, and indeed everyone in red. And we have one more substitution. Looks like we'll take another look at it here. Merriman puts that forward. It's 1 extra minute as he thought he'd claimed it, but just dropped. But he was able to fall on it in the end. Meanwhile, one final substitution made here as well. For Highlanders. We'll just get the numbers for that in a moment. I imagine this has to be with in mind of penalties, as coming in here is number 24, Evan Libke. Meanwhile, Budisa going on a run. Budisa's cross is blocked by Gertson. Abdi I'll allow Gertzen to just thump that to midfield. Nelson can't get past Binsala. Now the substitute. Lidke. Ventura. Lidke trying to get something happening against Stranich there.
Substitution. Leading the game, number 12, Caden Miner. Coming into the game, number 24, Evan Ritke.
And that is full time and extra time. 120 minutes has produced a 4-all draw.
Your score at the end of
The only way to determine the rightful holder of the PCSL Challenge Cup will be through penalty kicks. Those of you who have heart conditions, I recommend you relax yourself, maybe get a glass of water and prepare, because the drama is not over. We have penalty kicks coming up after this break. And now, penalties. Welcome back, everybody. We've played 120 minutes. It's been a 4-4 draw at the end of full time and extra time. A great tilt and an afternoon for local soccer. And now for penalty kicks. 5 shooters each. Most goals lifts the PCSL Challenge Cup. First will be the Tigers to kick, and no surprise here, it's Faravar Torabi up against Ethan May. He does indeed bury it. May got a hand to it. He was that close. Closest May has been to stopping Torabi all afternoon, but not enough. 1-0 Tigers on penalties. Patrick Nelson with the Highlanders. Not a shocker at all here that both teams going with their leading regular season scorers. Start this off. Meanwhile, Lucas Strauss, attempting to set Nelson off, receives a rather harsh rebuke from the supporters, as the calls for "that's a yellow" begin to ring out. Nelson over the bar. Nelson launches that well beyond the athletic track, and it remains 1-0 for Tigers. Not the start Highlanders wanted on penalties. You can tell he wanted that under the bar, where Strauss might have trouble with it, but ultimately that was not to be. Saranic now for Tigers. Big opportunity here to put some distance in. Up 2 in penalties is a fairly big gap. And he does indeed do it. Saranic scores on May, and it's 2-0 Tigers. And it'll be Duran will be the taker here. Sergio Duran for the Highlanders to try and get one here, at least get on the board. Keep this close. Duran coming on as a substitute in this match. Can he beat Lucas Strauss? He goes right. Strauss guessed right. Just not far enough. Well placed by Duran. 2-1. Tomi Fagbonge. Bonge was on the Tigers' side. Won a silver at the A-Cup Provincial Finals this year. And he's put his side up 3-1. Confident and calm, Tomi Fagbonge. And now Evan Libke steps forward for Highlanders, as we suspected. The substitution made late explicitly to get Libke on. 4 penalties. Strauss calmly handing it over after his previous bit of gamesmanship, I guess we can say successfully, put off Patrick Nelson. Libke. Goes the wrong way, does Strauss. Libke keeps it on target. 3-2. Looks like Budisa coming forward now for Tigers. 4th taker here for FC Tigers of Vancouver. Nicholas Budisa. Put in a shift and a half on that right-hand side. Left-hand side, excuse me. Right side, inside the post, buried confidently, and a little nod to the camera. Budisa has 4. And now, to take this, Chris Merriman. Merriman must score here. To keep the Highlanders in it. Currently 4-2 in favor of the Tigers. Merriman. Saved by Strauss! Strauss with the save! FC Tigers of Vancouver are your PCSL Challenge Cup champions! Lucas Strauss, the hero of the moment. He made more than his fair share of great saves over 120 minutes. And when his side needed it, he came up with one more. 4-4 at the end of regulation in extra time 4-2 on penalties. FC Tigers of Vancouver are your 2019 PCSL Challenge Cup champions. Merriman against Strauss. This was sealed the deal. Strauss with the left footer. Strauss saving that left footer with aplomb. Merriman tried to show right. Strauss wasn't having it. And at full stretch, he'd even cheated just a little bit to that side. You saw on the replay, he'd committed fully. And he got it right and then some. So the double is denied for the Highlanders too. They are the league champions, but they are not cup champions. That honor goes to the visitors from the mainland in red. FC Tigers of Vancouver, under player coach Blaise Kufo, are your 2019 Challenge Cup champs. As we prepare now for the trophy presentation, just at the athletic trek in front of us here, there will undoubtedly be some very happy players in red hoisting that trophy. Their first ever Challenge Cup. And what a way to get it on penalties with a massive save from Lucas Strauss to seal the deal. Faravor Torabi, the 4-goal man. A hat trick on 16 minutes. And then a fourth to restore a 2-goal lead in the second half. Ultimately, it was enough to get them to penalties. And no small part of that, because of a few amazing saves made by Strauss. As we'll take a look back at some of those highlights from this truly classic cup clash. There he is, Faravor Torabi, the target man of Highlander nightmares on the afternoon. That was his first on the long ball. His second from the penalty spot. May goes the wrong way, excuse me. And then his third on the assist. The 2-assist man, Tainer Bashkare. That was the 16-minute hat trick. And you had to think, well, if that's not it, then it's almost done. But wait a minute. Never count the Highlanders out. One from Stacey. Made it interesting. And then Stacey, as you can see there, lays it off for Hundle to make it even more interesting. Stacey getting involved on that one, adding in an assist. And with the score 3-2. Torabi on the little layoff from, once again, Tainer Bashkara. 4-2. Is that it, you might be thinking? Oh no, we're not done yet. Chris Merriman on a platter for Stacey to get his second. Stacey, 2 goals, 1 assist on the afternoon. As this delivery from Merriman is just fantastic. And then the fourth and final goal, Patrick Nelson from the penalty spot levels the score at 4. He wasn't able to find the net during the penalty shootout, but he did find it to get the game tied at 4. Meanwhile, at pitch side, the trophy is about to be handed out. The Highlanders receiving their second place medals. On the whole, for the Highlanders reserve side, this has to be seen as a great season for them. They handily win the league. Runners-up medal for the Challenge Cup, and here's the presentation.
Doesn't necessarily have to come from this game today, but this year it has. And we have a player that in 2 days scored 7 goals, and we prevent the MVP to grow.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
We'd like to present to the Victoria Highlanders the runners-up medals. Tough one to lose. You played great. You played great in this league, and we look forward to seeing you next year. If you'd like to come forward and get your medals, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for playing
We'll
it,
put
guys.
enough medals here, but we'll put it on your neck.
That's so good.
Congratulations. Here you go. You don't want it around your neck either? Huh? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
I'd like to come now to the champions, Vancouver Tigers. Vancouver Tigers came into this league this year for the first time, and nothing could happen for the first year team with the Shootout Memorial Challenge Cup in our league. This year, they did. And we'd like to call the captain forward as a team to receive the cup.
One, two, three.
And some celebrating Tigers at the pitch side at Centennial Stadium. Final MVP, and who else was it going to be? Torabi helping his side lift that trophy. That's going to do it for us, for everybody here at the University of Victoria with Victoria Highlanders. My name is Roturo. Thank you so much for watching the 2019 PCSL Challenge Cup Final. Good afternoon.